popping, my lollipops? Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. I typically share inexpensive DIYs on this channel, but every Wednesday I drop an all natural grow series video, and today is episode 7 of the all natural lollipop grow series, and we're talking about how to grow your natural hair without doing pretty much anything at all. I know that's like so ideal for a lot of people. We have hectic lifestyles, outside obligations, or honestly you're just not in the mood to be dealing with hair all the time, and I typically feel that way majority of the time myself. So I'm going to tell you guys how I grow my hair really without doing too much of anything. So to get this going, I'm going to detail the top 3 protective styles that I suggest if you want to grow your hair. Protective styles are something that have been getting a bad rap lately. I personally have moved away from them for a good amount of time now. In a few months, it's going to really be like a year. I started moving away from them because it becomes an extremely expensive habit that I consider toxic. Call me dramatic. There's also other reasons with people losing their edges, tension in the crown area of the hair, scalp irritation, redness, dandruff, and all of these other things that people were experiencing that they just wanted to step away from and just start doing their natural hair. But we also know that natural hair can be like a significant commitment for a lot of people, especially depending on everything that you have going on in your life. So I definitely know that like there's times where we all want a braid. I'm in that stage right now, but because of Corona, I can't get braids. And that leads me into the first protective style that I recommend, and that is box braids. Contrary to popular belief, don't kill the messenger. I know that box braids have a bad rap for taking out people's edges, but I've kind of mastered the cheat code. So I stay away from jumbo box braids. I know they're cute and everybody wants their poetic justice and all of that stuff, but for me as a natural with finer hair strands, and I imagine for any natural at all, we all know that the box braids, they begin to slip after a while. It's inevitable. If you have a quality stylist that does them, or you do them yourself and you do them extremely well, we know that that slipping process typically takes a longer time, but they begin to slip as they get older. When a jumbo box braid starts to slip, it starts really tugging on your hair, and that is what causes breakage, causes scalp irritation. You may even notice little bumps on your scalp area as well because of all of the tension that it's creating. So what I suggest is getting small to medium sized box braids. Again, do not get them too tiny, and I recommend this for several reasons. One, in my opinion, the slipping process takes a longer time when the braids are smaller. They seem to grip to the hair better, and I get a longer wear out of the style. So I'm getting longer wear, a bang for my buck, and also when it comes to longevity of the style, the smaller box braids, when you pack them up, I think it does a better job of masking your scalp and things of that nature. So if you are keeping it in for an extended period of time, you don't have to risk looking like, oh, you know, your scalp is in a mess and all of that stuff. But then this leads me into my other reasons why I really do recommend it. Honestly, having box braids gives you access to your scalp, so you're able to maintain the health of your scalp. You can use detoxifying tonics to cleanse your scalp. There are no suds shampoos that you can use that have a nozzle to apply directly to your scalp to make sure things are clean as well. So you're maintaining the health of your hair. Your hair is growing because it's protected, and you don't have to touch it that much. The second protective style that I really do recommend is a good curly wig unit. I know that's extremely specific, and maybe I have a bias because I just love the way that curly hair looks in extensions. I love the volume. I love like the flirtiness of the style, how it just gives fears. There's so many looks that you can get out of it. The reason I recommend a curly hairstyle is because with curly, there's a lot of things that you can have going on underneath that, and the volume and density of the hair really masks everything that's going on underneath. So when it comes to plaiting down your hair underneath, you can do jumbo braids, you can change up your braiding pattern, and you don't have to risk your hair looking humpy. You know those things that tend to happen when you have like a straight unit and you put it on and it almost looks like a hill is in your head. The curly hair really masks that. And then to go a step further, if you get like a curly hairstyle, or even if you get a straight hairstyle that has a bang units do a great job as well, because there's typically not really a need for you to sew those wig units down. Whether you have an elastic band or clips, either or can work pretty well. And I just think that for those units, you don't have to have the security of the wig down to a T. I'm not saying don't secure your wig and have it plop off when you're going down the street, although none of us are going outside right now. Well, you shouldn't be going outside if you don't have to. I'm not saying that, but you can loosen up on the amount of tension that you're applying to your head, because the curly hair is just doing its own thing. It's flowy, it's okay if it has body and all of that stuff. Typically when you have like straighter or like slightly wavy hair, everything down to the stitching has to be intact because it's very apparent, and you just don't deal with that when it comes to curly hair. The third and final protective style that I recommend is kind of a cheat, but get yourself a good yaki or canicolon ponytail. Quick disclaimer, because you know that I have to give it. If you are using any type of extensions, make sure to properly cleanse the extensions before putting it into your hair. Canicolon hair specifically has been known to severely irritate the scalp of a lot of people that use it, because it is coated with some type of a chemical that just doesn't mesh well with our tresses. It is easy for you to handle this though. Just simply wash the canicolon hair in apple cider vinegar, allow it to dry, and go into your traditional styling. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. So when you get that yaki or canicolon hair, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. Let's use an example. I get canicolon hair, I want a long Rapunzel ponytail. The first pro of the canicolon hair is its texture. It's fairly close to our type 4 hair. Therefore, we don't have to go far lengths to try to manipulate our hair to make it blend, try to slick it down, flat ironing our natural hair or any of those things to make it blend. No, those natural waves and all of those things that we get when we apply gel, or even if you don't go for the gel look, it blends nicely with these hair textures. So it removes the need for the manipulation, so you're not risking your hair that way. And then when it comes to the longevity of the style, if I did a long Rapunzel braid, I could wear that for a few days as well. And then you can take that braid off and you can turn it into a nice halo braid that goes all the way around your head that you secure with bobby pin. You can then turn that back into a low bun. You can then bring that baby back up and do a high bun. You can then bring those babies back down and do 2 pigtails that have braided balls on them. That sounds disgusting. You guys know what I mean. There's just a lot that you can do with the hairstyle. Don't feel limited. Don't feel bad about not wanting to deal with your hair. I am all pro natural hair. I'm all pro self-empowerment, but the reality is we live a real life. And I know there's this term that people use called like a lazy natural. I don't believe in a lazy natural. I call it the jiffy natural. And a jiffy natural is someone that does not work harder, they work smarter, and they do efficient hairstyles, and they have efficient hair care practices. When you're doing a protective style, please don't get married to the idea of not having to touch your hair. As I said with the box braids, you can still make sure that you're maintaining your scalp. Some people elect to fully wash their box braids. I feel like that messes up the braids, but please do what's best for you in your overall scalp and health and hair health. When it comes to the canicolon braids, please, you still have access to your hair. You can regularly cleanse, deep condition, protein treatment, all of that stuff on your hair. And it's the same thing for the wigs. Because it's not sewed on, you can pop it on and off. You can always care for your hair. You can stretch out the time periods if that suits you. My lily pops, I hope that this was helpful. Pop off.
thick.